former 112 wireman, leader in our industry, former JTC instructor, and now managing director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Please welcome Greg Greiner.
Good evening, everyone. Get used to holding the mic. It's a real honor to be here and stand here tonight with you to celebrate this class. Thank you for asking me to share tonight with you. When I look around this room, I see something important. I see years of effort from many. Early mornings, long days, long nights, working, going to class, teaching class, studying, preparing to teach, preparing how to help everyone succeed no matter the position. I see importance in preparation, and I see a lot of preparation shown as determination to push through things when things get difficult. But it's not always easy. Before I really start my remarks, I want to begin where recognition is due. First, I want to express sincere thanks to the leadership of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 112, and my good friend, businessman Travis Sellers. I also want to thank my new friend, chapter manager, Lita Eschenbacher, of the Inland Empire of the National Electrical Contractors Association. I say it everywhere I go. The partnership between these two organizations has built one of the strongest workforce training systems in the world. Because their vision and commitment, generations of journeymen have been given not just a job of tasks, but a career, a craft, and a future. It's a partnership built on a simple but powerful idea. If you invest in people, if you invest in training, and you insist on quality craftsmanship, you create careers that last a lifetime. Because of that vision, programs like the Columbia Basin Electrical Training Alliance have produced generations of journeymen who helped build this region. The shopping centers, the hospitals, the schools, the manufacturing plants, the food processing, data centers, and the electrical power generation infrastructure that powers more regions than just our own. I also want to recognize the JATC staff and instructors, training director Jeff Arns, the instructors in the classroom, the staff at the JATC who enable a journeyman to run a training center, and everyone who dedicates their time to developing the next generation of journeymen. Thank you. Being an instructor, teaching the electrical trade, it isn't just teaching someone how to bend conduit, terminate a panel, connect a transformer, or light a building. It's teaching problem solving. It's teaching discipline. It is teaching safety. It's enforcing critical thinking. And it is teaching pride in workmanship. Because what we build must work safely and reliably long after we leave the job site. Teaching the electrical trade is about far more than passing along technical understanding. It's about developing professionals who take pride in their work, who understand responsibility, and who represent this trade with integrity. The time and dedication you invest in these apprentices shapes the future of our entire industry, so I thank you. To the families here tonight, this accomplishment belongs to you too. Anyone who has lived with an apprentice knows the routine. Long days of work followed by long nights and weekends of studying for exams, coming home exhausted, sometimes wondering if they're ever going to remember everything, or maybe remember anything. Families carry that journey alongside their apprentice. Your support, your patience, and your encouragement helped each apprentice reach this moment. Tonight, you deserve our thanks as well. Now to the graduates. Tonight is a big moment. You have completed thousands of hours of training on job sites and in the classroom. Some people will tell you to think back to your first day as an apprentice. They will tell you that you remember it perfectly, and maybe you do. The new boots, the clean hard hat, the journeyman someone told you to stick with. For me, my first day, honestly, more of a blur. I don't carry the kind of crystal clear single-day memory that some have. What I remember clearly are the years. I remember the incidents. I remember days when something went wrong on a job site. I remember when I got hurt and the journeyman I was supposed to be following was not there when he needed to be. But I remember far more often the journeymen who were where they needed to be. The ones who looked at me, green, slow, unsure, and saw something worth investing in. The ones who took the time to teach when they could have just told. The ones who corrected me without crushing me. The ones who shaped a green apprentice into a working journeyman. Here's what I want you to hear. Every one of you can do this same exercise right now. You can name today the journeyman who made you feel like you belonged in this trade. You can name the ones who did not. We never forget either group. That memory matters because tonight you become the journeyman some new apprentice is going to remember 20 years from now. That's part of the process. Every journeyman in this room started exactly the same way, and we all stayed. And over time, something started to happen. You begin recognizing materials, you start understanding tools, you start understanding design and prints and building modeling. You learn how systems come together. You realize one day that you can see how power generation, transmission, control, distribution, and utilization come together as one integrated system. One day you realize you're not just following instructions, you're solving problems. And you become the IBW worker a new apprentice is looking to for answers. This is how this trade works. Knowledge gets passed down job site by job site, generation by generation, journeyman to apprentice, instructor to student, because every journeyman in our industry is also an instructor. And tonight represents a milestone, a defining moment in that process for each of you. This defining moment reminds me of a moment from history. I like to read. History is a big part of my off-time focus. Most of that reading is to learn about people, situations, and decisions, moments that define them, moments I strive to learn from. A graduation in our industry makes me think of the Wright brothers. Two brothers from Dayton, Ohio, self-taught bicycle mechanics, working with their hands, building everything themselves, even the engine, machined in their own shop by their mechanic Charlie Taylor, because no one would sell them one light enough to fly. For years they studied, they sketched, they tested, they camped in tents on the dunes at Kitty Hawk. They crashed, they rebuilt, they argued, they persisted. And on the morning of December 17, 1903, Orville Wright lifted off the ground and flew 120 feet in 12 seconds. The first powered flight in human history. 12 seconds after years of work. David McCullough captured those brothers as well as anyone has. And Wilbur Wright once wrote something I think every apprentice and journeyman should read. If you are looking for perfect safety, you will do well to sit on a fence and watch the birds. But if you really wish to learn, you must mount a machine and become acquainted with its tricks by actual trial. That is the apprenticeship in one sentence. You don't learn this trade from the fence. You learn it on the machine. And that morning at Kitty Hawk wasn't the finish line. It was the end of the beginning. The real work, refining the wing, perfecting the controls, teaching the world to fly, was just getting started. That moment from history applies perfectly to apprenticeship today. After all you've done, after all the nights, days, and weekends of study, this is not the end. Tonight is the end of your learning. It is the end of the beginning of your learning. Your apprenticeship has given you the foundation, the fundamentals, the discipline, the safety, the culture that will guide you for the rest of your career. But the real learning, the learning that turns good electricians into great journeymen, continues for decades. And the timing of your career could not be better. Right now, the electrical industry sits at the center of one of the biggest transformations in history. I would argue it's the largest design and build the world has ever seen. Compared to the great accomplishments still talked about today that occurred millennia and centuries ago, across this country, we are electrifying transportation, buildings, and entire industries, electric vehicles, battery storage, renewable energy integration, smart grid systems, software-driven applications, all changing how power moves through our world, how it is controlled, and how it is used. The scale of that work is incomparable to anything we have ever asked the working man in the history of our country. The digital economy is expanding rapidly. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, AWS, Meta, BlackRock, and more, all coming to us looking for answers. Building massive data centers and cloud infrastructure that require extraordinary electrical capacity and reliability. At the same time, America is modernizing the grid, building new substations, strengthening transmission, hardening distribution, innovating power use in buildings, homes, and society. Here's the important part. None of that happens without skilled journeymen. Lincoln wrote about labor. He wrote about the power, the capability, and the need of and for the working man. Lincoln said, labor is prior to and independent of capital. Capital is only the fruit of labor and could never have existed if labor had not first existed. Labor is the superior of capital and serves much of the higher consideration. And another president, Theodore Roosevelt, a man who knew something about hard work, who pushed himself down the Amazon's river of doubt and nearly died doing it, once put labor a different way. Far and away, the best prize that life offers is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. That is what tonight celebrates, hard work at work worth doing. The future we talk about, clean energy, advanced technology, electrified transportation, resilient infrastructure, integrated systems, does not get built in boardrooms. It does not get built in engineering offices. It gets built on job sites by people wearing hard hats, by people carrying tools, by people who know how to turn plans and models into actual systems that power the world. People like you. So as you move forward in your careers, remember something important. A moment ago I told you that every one of you can name the journeyman who made you feel like you belonged in this trade, and the ones who did not. We never forget either group. Tonight you decide which one you're going to be. Be the journeyman a new apprentice will remember 20 years from now for the right reasons. For the same reasons you remember the journeyman who shaped you. Be the journeyman who never stops learning. Be the journeyman who takes pride in doing the job right. Be the journeyman people trust when the job is difficult and the stakes are high. Be the journeyman who is where he is supposed to be because the apprentice next to you is counting on him. That's your reputation. It is built on job sites day by day over years. It is what people say about you when you are not in the room. It's what one apprentice tells the next. And your reputation matters now more than ever because the work this moment calls for is enormous. You are not just building electrical systems. You're building an infrastructure that powers cities, connects communities, drives innovation, and strengthens the future of this country. We are on the forefront of a war for power and AI, and it is you that is leading that battle. Clean energy, advanced technology, electrified transportation, the grid of the next century. The work needs the journeyman the next apprentice is going to remember well. It's a big responsibility, but it's also an incredible opportunity. And one day when you are the foreman, the superintendent, the contractor standing on a job site looking out at the next generation of apprentices, remember this moment. Remember the opportunity that was given to you and pay it forward. Because the strength of this trade in the future we are all building depends on it. It depends on you. So congratulations to each of you tonight. You have finished the beginning, now go build the future.